now bring in Jason Miller, senior advisor to the Trump campaign. Jason, good morning to you. Thanks for hopping on with me. The situation, as you know, it seems to be deteriorating by the day, especially as we inch closer and closer to October 7th. How worried are you about a full-on war?
Well, it's very concerning, and keep in mind, none of this would be happening if President Trump was still in office. Remember, we had peace in the Middle East. Remember the Abraham Accords, and Iran was in a much weaker position. But two things have happened, Markie, to go and set this in the course that we're in right now. And it largely goes to weakness and incompetence from the Harris and Biden administration. Weakness because they lifted a lot of the sanctions, allowed Iran to go and rebuild much of their economy, and even gave them $6 billion and a hostage deal. And Iran funds these groups, both Hamas and Hezbollah. And then when we talk about incompetence, all you have to do is take a look at the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, which, of course, Kamala Harris was the last one in the room. We lost all sense of military deterrence. All of our foreign adversaries saw that and said America is weak. There's not a strong executive. And so we have to, number one, back Israel. We have to make sure they're able to eradicate these terrorist groups, get the hostages back from Hamas, also make sure that we're eradicating the Hezbollah terrorists who are attacking them. But also we have to take back down Iran's economy. When they have money, it's going to end up in the hands of terrorists.
And what about hostages, Jason? You know, as fighting between Israel and Hezbollah worsens, the Times of Israel is reporting that Prime Minister Netanyahu told lawmakers during a closed-door meeting, this was earlier today, that he thinks only half of the 97 hostages still held in Gaza are even alive. If Trump gets reelected and he's back in office come January, what's his exact plan to bring those hostages back home?
Yeah, so I want to be a little bit careful on this one because obviously on cable television, that probably wouldn't be the smartest place to go and lay out an exact strategy. But I think that the actors in the region will know that President Trump is not messing around, and we have to allow Israel to get their hostages back. And the U.S., of course, should be good allies in that. What we can't do is you played the clip of John Kirby earlier, sit around on our hands and say, well, there's time for conversations and diplomacy. It's almost a year in, Markie. And as we saw when Kamala Harris said,
I know you're saying it's not smart to lay it out on cable, but does he have one?
That's where we found a lot of the hostages, hostages who are dead, who had been killed. So we have to be able to get that back. But number one, we need to support Israel. Number two, we need to make sure that Iran doesn't have the money to keep funding these groups. These hostages are going to get returned, or we're going to go and get them when President Trump is back in office.
And so just to confirm, he does have a plan. He's just keeping it close to the chest right now.
Again, it wouldn't be my place to go and do that, especially since he's not yet the president. But as we saw with President Trump when he was in office, he had the region under control. Markie, keep in mind, people laughed when President Trump said he would bring peace to the Middle East when he was first sworn in. That's exactly what he had when he left office.
Well, Jason Miller, I have to end it there. You and I could talk for the next hour about this, but I appreciate your time this morning ahead of a busy Monday. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.